can't take it too seriously, man. Too many people get too precious about music, and it's like, at the end of the day, you know, music's there so people can enjoy it and have a good time. So when you're making it, you got to be in that state of mind.
I first got into music, like a lot of people, I guess, as a kid, and I was living in the UK at the time for about 10 years as a kid. And when I moved back to New Zealand in 1997, there was like a really good drum and bass radio show that was running. Didn't have any friends or anything yet, so I started just like playing my saxophone to the radio station. The next few years, went to university, got into like the drum and bass scene in Christchurch, which is like a really, really vibrant, strong scene, and that's how I met the other guy from Truth, Andre.
We just had a mutual kind of interest in music and going out to the clubs and checking out new DJs from overseas, and we kept bumping into each other out in the alleyways, you know, in the smoking areas, and eventually for Tristan's 21st birthday we decided to get together and do a DJ thing.
We started like a night together, running gigs. Over about 6 or 7 years, got quite well known, quite good.
Yeah, 10 years later we're still doing it.
The bass music scene in New Zealand, it's been huge for a long time.
I originally got into jungle music. Guys like Goldie and Groove Rider.
It's got a really big following for reggae ever since the 70s. A lot of kids have grown up with their parents listening to that and have transitioned onto other kinds of bass music.
We had a really strong drum and bass scene. Like it just felt like something new, you know, something that we wanted to be part of. With dubstep, you know, by that stage we'd been making drum and bass for like 7 years. It wasn't until we dropped the tempo to 140 that we really, like, our sound kind of was unleashed.
Our first dubstep release was on Deep Medi, Marla's label, and it's a tune called The Fat Man.
Our whole dubstep career, if you call it that, begun from me meeting Marla. He came around with my friend to my house. He was on tour in New Zealand at the time. I didn't know who Marla was or what kind of music he played, and we just sat down and, you know, spent an afternoon chatting and playing each other music, and was really interested in the sound he had. I'd never heard anything quite like it before. Yeah, the next day the boys at the time came around to jam on some drum and bass in the studio, and I said, hey, I met this guy yesterday, you should check out his stuff. We listened to it in the studio and we're all like, wow, this shit's cool, let's have a go at it. And that week we just like had a bit of fun, pumped out 4 or 5 tunes.
We made a few tracks and gave them to him.
We'll give him a CD, don't expect anything of it.
A few days later, and he's pretty much signed those straight away.
He wanted to sign a 12-inch and wanted 2 of the tunes, and yeah, we were stoked. Fat Man was like the second ever dubstep tune, or it's just the second ever tune we made at 140 BPMs.
I want you to try and tell us everything that happened. Anything you can remember.
I think with a 12-inch, it's a great opportunity because it's 2 sides of wax. You know, you can have a dance floor track on one side and then the other side. Traditionally, the B-side was almost like the producer's favourite, you know, and with the way that sort of music's going, there's definitely a sort of a split between sort of this really like heavy dance floor stuff and then this more underground sound that's coming through a lot more strongly now. And so I think a 12-inch is a great way to encapsulate that. We did a tour probably about 5 years ago now, and we were catching trains around Europe. You know, we were in Slovakia and the Czech Republic and Cyprus. And we each had like a record bag with probably like 40 plates, and I also had a saxophone. You know, we had our clothing bags, all of this, and aside from it being very heavy and you know expensive if you have to catch a flight, there was one time when we were missing a train, basically running up the steps in the train station, and the strap of my bag broke off and all the records came out, and it was just, at that point we were thinking like there must be like an alternative to this, having to use CDJs as well as turntables. So Serato is a good way to like bring them all together.
Our studio back in New Zealand, we've got, you know, obviously monitor speakers and a MIDI controller, but we've also got a bunch of like 80 synthesizers like the Juno 6 and the 106 and an old Pro 1 and a couple of old Casio things and a mixing desk that we run everything through. We've just relocated to San Fran, as you know, so at the moment we've literally got an Akai 49 and just a couple of Mackies and a computer, so very basic.
In terms of like the creative process, you know, there's two of us, so one person's usually like controlling and the other person's probably like telling them what to do or like tweaking the knobs on a synth, or you know, there's two parts to the process. There's like the initial burst of creativity.
Throw the idea out, get the basic concept out,
and then later down the track, refining it and perfecting, I guess, the sound.
It's nice to sometimes like lock yourself away in a nice dark room and just focus on music for a while, but you know, you get this thing called producer's belly after a while, and you know, it's not the healthiest thing to do, but it's nice to, you know, get out and explore and tour and not be staring in front of the screen the whole time. For us, that's a really important step in the process, being able to test our music, A, like in the club on a big sound system, and B, to a live audience.
You know, you work very hard at it to get sounding how you want, and you want to hear it in a club in front of a lot of people and see how they react to it. So the DJing process is, you know, just an extension of the studio, really. We were working on an album, second album for a while, which we kind of started to rewrite. So we actually had an album finished, and then we decided that actually we wanted to take it in a different direction.
For us, like an album is kind of like a story. That's a totally different way of looking at it if you're just making a single for a DJ to play in a club. You kind of have to take into consideration somebody might be listening to the whole thing the whole way through.
A lot of people, they start a lot of music if they don't finish any of it. So I think it's important to finish tracks that you've started, because you know the last 10% takes often the longest. If you've got a track to like 90% finished, then there's definitely a good reason that you've made it how it was, and don't go like, you know, changing all the ideas at the last minute, because those ideas, they must have been down for a reason. You've got a good ear, you know.
I've been producing for 12 years now, and I'm still, every time I get in front of the computer, I learn something new. You know, and with the way technology is constantly evolving and developing, you know, there's always something new to learn. To be honest, I've never seen such a well-established kind of place for people to learn how to produce and mix. You know, this is incredible. It can only be a positive thing, helping people learn how to make music, and it's only going to build up the culture and hopefully improve the quality of the overall sound and the scene. And there's no better knowledge than experience, man. And if you've got people teaching the kids that have had experience, then that's better than any textbook.
So far, so fast. Welcome to Dubspot. We believe in providing you hands-on experience right away. Whether you're completely new to music and want to turn the sounds in your head into a musical reality, or you're an experienced artist looking to refine your skills and add new tools to your arsenal, we're ready to meet you at your level. For students of all ages, all levels, and all styles of music, Dubspot is here to help you achieve your goals. With course offerings both online wherever you are and at our school in the heart of New York City, we are ready to guide you through the next phase of your musical transformation. Whether you want to produce music, DJ, or do both, you've come to the right place. Come explore Dubspot for yourself. Become a part of our community and make music.